let us discuss. I'm going to demonstrate an experiment on micro strip lines, wherein there are various strip line components that you can see. I'll show you one by one. So first one is a parallel strip line which has a characteristic impedance of 50 ohms. This parallel strip line of 50 ohm characteristic impedance is used for setting up input voltage for micro strip line experiments like directional couplers and power dividers. So coming to this, how these strip lines are printed is on a dielectric material using some material alloys. The lines are printed, so those work as micro strip lines for your microwave signal transmissions. Okay. So here coming to the setup, coming to the connection, we have a connection starting with a microwave power source, that is a solid state C-band solid state power source, in source with the power supply. So there is an inbuilt power supply for this. So we have a tuning knob for tuning voltage, wherein yes, you can vary the frequency. Coming to the setup, we have a source. From the source, through coaxial cables, we are connecting micro strip lines. So from strip lines, we are connecting to detector. Detector is connected to active filter. Active filter is connected to CRO for measurement of the signals, and amplitudes. Okay. So basically, using this 50 ohm strip line with characteristic impedance of 50 ohms, this one we call it as a parallel line strip lines. Okay, we are going to set a reference voltage. So how do we set here is by varying this tuning voltage. We can keep gain. We have to keep somewhere minimum average gain will keep. So you are varying the tuning voltage. We can vary the frequency. When you vary the frequency, the output on the CRO will increase and decrease. At one particular frequency, it becomes maximum. So that maximum amplitude we keep it as V input or V reference for all the strip line experiment. You can observe on CRO the amplitudes are varying. So at 5.4 we are getting some level. So at 4.9 I am getting some amplitude. This amplitude is corresponding to 3.1 volt for multiplied by 2. So it is 6.2 volts. So let me keep this as my V reference. Let me keep this as my V reference or V in for all other strip line experiments. At 4.9 GHz, I am getting a maximum amplitude of 6.3 to 6.4 volts. I will keep that as reference voltage. Now, I will remove this strip line component and go with other directional coupler components, other strip line components. So, next one, let me start with microwave power divider. So, coming to power divider device, it has one input port, two output ports. So the power difference between input port and output port will always be 3 dB, and we have 3 ports here, but we do have 2 connections. One has input, other one has output connection. The other one has to be terminated with a matched terminating load. These two are the matched termination loads which have a characteristic impedance or load of whatever the strip line we have used. This has a characteristic impedance of 50 ohms. Similarly, this too have 50 ohm characteristic impedance. The same device we can use for power combination or addition also. In the other way around, we can use these two. We can use it as input ports. We can measure some of the two powers added here. Okay, 3 dB. The difference in the power between input port and output port will always be 3 decibels. So here, when we can use input here and measure output. So I'll take input port voltage as V1, output port voltage as V2, and other output port voltage as V3. Okay, let me connect. I'm connecting input now. I'll connect other one to output port. Okay, my V in is 6.3 to 6.4 volts. What I set it as reference. Okay, so other one I'm terminating. Okay, so now record the voltage. So V1 is 6.4 volts. V2 is this voltage you can record. So it is coming to be 2 divisions into 2 volts. It is 4 volts. So V2 is done. Same way you can connect V3. You can check for V3. Okay, you will approximately get a similar voltage of how much you got for V2. See, you are getting nearer value of same. It is around 1.8 volts. We are getting 1.8 into 2. It is 3.6 volts. The power difference between two of the ports will have input and output ports will be 3 decibels. And one more characteristic we are supposed to verify on this is isolation characteristics. What is that isolation characteristic here is the power transmission between two of the output ports. these two, between these two, if I connect input here and measure output at the other one, the power transmission should be 0. So that we shall verify. I am connecting input to one port, I will connect output to other port, and let us check for isolation. So the other port I have to terminate with matched load. See, the output at the output with the power transmission between two of your output ports is always 0. So there is no power transmission happening between these two strip lines, these two ports. So this is regarding microwave power divider. Okay, coming to power divider, we have set a reference voltage as Vin. So that signal is getting equally distributed among the two ports. Okay, the power difference between input and output is always 3 dB. That, noting down the voltages V1, V2, V3, V1 was 6.4, it was 4 and 3.6. So using those values we will calculate. Calculations part I will provide you. I'll provide through an online session for everyone. Okay. So this is a microwave parallel strip line, branched line or parallel line directional coupler. Strip line directional coupler. So this is used, so you can see there are two strings of strip lines that are being parallelly connected, but there is no cross connection between the two. In this, how to identify the ports? So you have to hold such that there will be two ports on either side. So that if you take left side as the input port, right side acts as the output port. If you take upper one as input, opposite one will be your direct port, the diagonal one will be your coupled port, whereas other one will be your isolation port. Means if you connect input here, direct voltage you are going to measure here, coupled voltage you will be measuring here, and isolation voltage here. So output at isolation when input is connected is always should be 0, and other two terminals should be terminated with matched loads. Okay, how to identify terminals? It is in a Z shape. It is not mandatory that you can have to use this as input. You can use this as input. If this is input, this becomes direct, coupled and isolation. That is again Z shape of identification. Let me make connections. So I will connect input to port 1. See, I am using this as port 1, port 2, port 3, port 4. Port 1 is input port, port 2 is direct port, port 3 is isolation coupled port, port 4 is isolation port. So input I am connecting, and I will connect to output port. What is the input voltage that we have set it as 6.4 volts. I will retain that as the input voltage throughout my experiment. Okay, I am terminating the other two isolation and coupled ports. Okay, for an input voltage of 6.4 volts, I am getting the direct port output voltage as somewhere close to 6 volts. Means 3 into 2, 6 volts I am getting for the direct port voltage. So let us measure the coupled port voltage. So coupling port is port 3. I will connect it to coupling port and measure the voltage here. So V1 is 6.4, V2 is 6 volts. Coming to V3. V3, can you make out? So it is very less in isolation port. I will see how much I am getting. I will see. It is coming to be somewhere close to 0.4 volts. Let me make connection again. So input, let's check for direct port voltage. So direct port voltage I am getting maximum here. So with coupled port, okay, let me measure the coupled port voltage. Changes in the coupled port voltage. So it is coming to be 0.4 into 1, 0.4 volts is the coupled port voltage. Let us check for V1 and V2. V1 is 6.4, V2 is 3, V3 is 0.4. Let us check for V4, that is the isolation port voltage. For isolation port voltage, again it will be ideally approximately it will be 0, but it has to be 0, but it will be getting some noise levels. That we can record. So you can see you are getting a very small variation that you can expand and see. Is coming to be somewhere 0.2 into 0.2, 0.04 volts you are getting as isolation voltage. So V1 is 6.4, V2 is 3, so here it is 0.4, here it is 0 approximately. Okay. So input voltage is distributed between your direct and isolation coupled ports. Isolation is always 0. So this is regarding parallel line directional coupler thing. So coming to branch line directional coupler, the next one is branch line directional coupler. So branch line directional coupler is, this is the branch line directional coupler. Again you are supposed to hold such that two of the ports will be on either side. It is not like you can hold in any direction, either this way or this way you can hold. So if you are using the left terminals as input, so if this is your input port, opposite will be the direct port, below one will be your coupled port, and the left side port below your output port is your input port, is your isolation port. So you can see the connection, it is a crisscross connection is available in the printed lines. So input, direct, coupled and isolation. It is just like a inverted C-shape identification. If this acts as input, then input, direct, coupled, isolation. So always we take input as V1, direct as V2, coupled as V3, isolation as V4. Let us go for input direct port transmission in direct port. So make connection between input and direct port, input to input port, and CRO to direct port, and coupled port and isolation port are being terminated. So we are measuring with a scale of 0.2 and pivoting 2. See our voltage here I am getting as, for 6.4 volt of input I am getting 1.8 into 2, 3.6 voltage as direct port voltage. So 6.44 was set as input voltage, that remains same. So I am getting direct voltage as 3.6. So let us check for the coupled port. Coming to coupled port voltage, the voltage in coupled port is somewhere, it is around 2 into 2, 4, it is coming to be 2.1 into 2, it is 4.2 volts coupled port. So let us check for isolation also. So V1 is 6.4, V2 is 3.6, V3 is 4.2, and V4, let us check for isolation port voltage. So other two terminals which are where you are not making any input output connections has to be terminated with matched loads of 50 ohm characteristic impedance. So V4 I am getting some noise voltage, this also you have to record. I am getting some voltage here, so let me record it. It is 0.8 into 0.2, I am getting 0.16 as the isolation port voltage. So this using these voltages we will have to make some calculations and find the coupling, isolation and coupling factor, isolation factor and power transmission factor, that is direct power transmission factors. So that calculations part we will discuss later. So this is all regarding the power division and directional coupler parts. So here along with this actual connection you are supposed to connect one 6 dB attenuators. You are supposed to connect one 6 dB attenuator. So we are not using this attenuator. The reason behind not using attenuator is, again, it has a characteristic impedance of 50 ohms. Why we are not using is, our microwave source is not providing us very high gain output voltages. If the output voltage is beyond certain levels, then only we can use attenuator. So we are not using attenuator in our experiment. Coming to the last part, that is microwave ring resonator. This is your microwave ring resonator component. Okay, so here on a dielectric material there will be printed ring structures on which it provides a kind of resonance circuit. Okay, we have to find the resonant frequency oscillations in this particular component. So how do we do that? For low frequency circuits, for low frequency resonance circuits we use RLC circuits. Similarly we use for high frequencies or microwave frequencies we go with ring resonators. Okay, so connection is simple. You can connect input to one port and output to the other port. Okay, and for this particular experiment on ring resonator, you are supposed to measure the voltage. Okay, you are supposed to vary the frequency and record the output voltage. I said by varying tuning voltage you can vary the frequency. I start with 4 GHz. For 4 GHz output is 0. Let us vary this and check for various frequencies. For 4.1 again it is 0. For 4.2 it is coming to be 0. 4.3 also. Just tabulate the values as output voltage, frequency versus output voltage in steps of 0.1 GHz each. So for 4.7 it is 0. You can see there is an increase here in for 5.1 GHz. that you can expand and see there is an increase in the voltage. Okay, for 5.2 gigahertz it is okay, for 5.2 gigahertz it is increasing further. For 5.3 it is going maximum, check, it is going maximum for 5.3 gigahertz. For 4.5.4 it is decreasing, 5.5 drops, and 5.6 again drops. So as the case of your RLC resonant circuits, vary the frequency and record the output voltage. You are supposed to plot a graph of output voltage versus frequency. Similar to the resonance of your RLC circuits, you get a similar graph. You have to find the resonant frequency of oscillations for this microwave ring resonator experiment. This is all regarding the experiment. So this complete strip line experiment is of two subparts. One is of ring resonator and power divider. Other one is on two of the directional couplers. Okay, I'll brief it. For ring resonator, for directional coupler and power divider, connect this 50 ohm parallel line strip line connector with characteristic impedance of 50 ohms and set the reference voltage. Then note down the values for power division and directional couplers. Okay, for ring resonator, connect the resonator, vary the frequency and record the output voltage. So this is all regarding your experiment on microwave strip lines.